this session, we are going to create a 3D building model. And to create a 3D building model, we have to go to one of the application of IES software. This is known as ModelIT. As you can see on my screen, you have to first open the ModelIT. So once you reach to the ModelIT, let's open ModelIT. By the time this is being opened, let me give you the advantages of ModelIT. ModelIT is a tool which is capable of creating different types of shapes. It has inbuilt different formats of buildings also. You can have a square building, you can have a rectangular building, and it has some inbuilt shapes of the buildings also. So if you want to create a 3D building, first part is open the ModelIT. And once you have selected the building, then the first part is that you have to give the location of that building. So to define the location, you have to go to the location tab and you have to define the location of the building. In this case, as you can see, we have defined the location as New Delhi. And once you define the location, the software is capable of taking all the weather parameters of that location. We have not constructed the building, but we are preparing to construct the building. Once you have the location available, then you have to import the weather file of that location. The weather file is available from ASHRAE database, and the ASHRAE database is inbuilt in IES software. Once you have the access to the ASHRAE database, you have to give your location details. It will take the weather parameter, which is temperature, relative humidity, dry bulb temperature, wet bulb temperature, all the weather parameters as an import of the weather file in your building. And once you have imported the weather file, it will start taking all the data in doing the energy simulation also for that location. So now we have taken the weather file as input to our building. The next part is, let us start doing construction of the building. So if you have already an existing project, you can open an existing project. So I have already one of the existing project. We are just trying to show you how to open the existing project in the ModelIT. At times, client provides you the database file. He is also providing you the DXF file. You can also import the DXF file in your model. So as you can see on my screen, we have imported the file of the building, and you need not to construct in that case. It's a very complicated design of all different zones of the building. Otherwise, if you are doing it as a very simple building, which is known as shoebox analysis, you can create the whole building here. Generally what happens is the client provides you the AutoCAD file. You have to first convert that AutoCAD file into DXF file. And once you have the DXF, once you have imported this, then you can take it to the next level. So what are the next level? So let us first show you that how to create a fresh model also. So we will start with a scratch. So let us consider that we are creating a building with a scratch, and this is known as shoebox analysis. So I am creating a simple square, not square, but we are creating a rectangular building block rather than importing, so that you understand all the features of the different tabs in the software. So we go to the different tabs, but before that we have to do the grid setting, because when you draw the building, your cursor will move to different directions and you will not be able to meet the the equivalent grid coordinates, and that will lead to the errors. So the first requirement is the grid setting. So as you can see on my screen, this is the way you can create the grid setting in the building. Once you have done the grid setting, then let us draw a rectangular building. So we are drawing a rectangular building here, and we have selected the option of the different shapes, and here we are defining the size of the building, and we have the building available. As you can see that we have created a rectangle only right now. Now we can define this as a single story building at the moment, and we are defining a window to wall ratio in this building, and we are considering the window to wall ratio as 40%. So we are defining these parameters in the building like this, and as you can see that once you define the window to wall ratio, it will equally spread the windows on all four sides. So as you can see that we have created the building. It's a single story building. It does not have a door right now. It is just a box which is having the walls and the windows. Okay, now if we want to change the building, let us say that we want to add an overhang to the windows. So we are creating the overhang as shapes. So creating overhang, you have to go to this tab and you can find out how to add the overhangs. So we are showing you how to add overhang. Once you have imported this, so as you can see that we have created the building, and we have also created yet another element that is known as overhang to the building. So far we have created this as a single story building. Let us assume that this is a 6-story building, and we have to create similar floors of 6 stories. So we have to first select the building, and once we select the building, we go to the tab which is allowing us to add the building. So far we have created this as a single story building. Let us assume that this is a 6-story building, and we have to create similar floors of 6 stories. So we have to first select the building, and once we select the building, we go to the tab which has create stories. Here you have to define the height of each story, and you have to define number of stories. So once you have defined these parameters, you are able to create a single story building to a 6-story building. As you can see that we have created this as a 6-story building. However, the element of overhang is only available in the ground floor. Okay, so if you want to add the overhangs on all the floors, then what we do is we first select the overhang and go to the elevation. Then once we have selected the tab, in the elevation we can keep pasting this overhang to different floors so that it is added to different elevation levels. We considered a simple shoebox model, which was a rectangular building. But building is not like this. It can be irregular shape or it can be in different shapes. In that case, you have to draw the building manually. As you can see that we have created an irregular shape. If you want to add window manually in your building, you have to go to the tab which is known as Add Windows. There you have to define the size of the window as well as sill height of the window. And once you have defined this, you can take that to any of the wall. As you can see, we are adding one of the window in one of the wall of this building geometry. Okay, the way we have added the window in our building, in the same fashion you have to go and add the door also. So you go to the tab and add a door also to building. So let us add the door. For adding a door, you have to define the length and width of the door, or width or height of the door, and you can select that door and add it to whichever location you may want to add to your building. Friends, practice will make it perfect. We have tried to explain it from scratch, but please download the software. It is free, available for 1 month, and then it is a paid but for students it is quite reasonable. Do practice creating the building, import your complicated files, and start constructing the model. So this session was purely for consideration of developing a building geometry. Thank you very much, but please